Hey 7th graders, this is day 1 of your Gravity and Light Plant Growth Lab. Obviously you're watching this if you're missing day 1, so this is really important that you guys go through this. Your guys' learning targets, I can collect evidence about whether a plant can sense the direction of gravity. Okay, so to start off, you guys have a bell ringer for today. What are the 3 things a plant needs for photosynthesis? You guys are obviously going to circle all 3 things that apply. So what does a plant use in photosynthesis? What does it need to grow, and whatever else you want to look at? And then what are 2 things a plant produces in photosynthesis? So what are the outputs of photosynthesis? There should be 2 that you circle here. And then finally, how do you think the roots of a plant know to grow downward? List as many ideas you guys can think of. You guys should be able to think of at least 4 or 5. So go ahead, take a minute, pause this video, fill out your guys' bell ringer on slides 3 and 4, and when you guys are done, you can come back to this video. Okay? So in your guys' bell ringer, you guys should have thought of a couple different things. A lot of things that we talked about in class when we did brainstorming is maybe it has something to do with the water and the soil, that they can detect the water and they grow toward the water. Might have something to do with the nutrients of the soil. Let's say, hey, the roots need to be down here. Could have to do with like, hey, sunlight's up here, we can feel that energy, so we're gonna grow this way. Could have something to do with temperature. So there's a lot of different ideas that we came up with in class that hopefully you came up with as well. But I think hopefully one of the ideas you came up with is gravity. Okay, considering this is the gravity investigation of the Gravity and Light Plant Growth Lab. Okay, so let's take a look at gravity. What we're going to do is basically take all those other things we just talked about in our brainstorming and say, hey, we're going to make those all the same. We're going to eliminate sunlight. We're going to give the same amount of water. There's not going to be any soil, so we're not going to consider nutrients, things like that. So we're going to isolate just to see if gravity can pull our roots down and cause them to grow downward. Okay, so here's your directions for your setup, but mainly you guys are going to skip to slide 6 and watch the video of this setup. So here's just a little image to show how it's going to be put together. But this is really important that you guys open and watch this video. It looks a little something like this. Oh, sorry, wrong video. So watch through that whole video. I'll show you guys how I set it up. You're gonna need to watch this to see how you're gonna draw your observations and your predictions up. So make sure you guys go through and watch that video first. So take a second, pause this video, go watch this other video on slide 6, and then we'll move on to slide 7. Okay, so once you guys have watched how to set up this part of the lab, you're going to go ahead and explain this. What will be different about each of the 4 seeds in your setup? Again, that comes from that video. If you didn't watch it, go back up to slide 6 and watch it. What will you observe and record? Again, we're looking at gravity here, so what are we looking for? Okay, and then what will you keep the same about each of the 4 seeds in your setup? Again, that's in that video, so go back up to slide 6 and watch it. Okay, finally, you guys have your exit ticket on slide 8. You need to draw how I arranged those 4 seeds in this setup. So again, you guys have to go watch that video on 6. You guys are gonna draw your seeds pretty specifically. So if I'm looking here, I might grab yellow because I am using corn seeds. Make sure you guys have a pointy end to show which way your seeds are oriented. So this would be kind of where the roots and the stems are gonna come from. This is just the other part of the seed. Okay, and then you guys can kind of color coordinate. So that's the first part. For part 2, you guys are gonna draw and label a root and stem. So what you guys can do is kind of make a little key. Maybe you guys use black for your roots, and then for your stems, you guys could maybe use green, since stems are usually green in a plant. And then you're gonna draw those 4 seeds in the exact orientation we had in that setup video on slide 6. And then you're gonna make a prediction as to which direction you think the stem is gonna grow and which direction you think the root is going to grow. So again, you guys can either label those or you can kind of color coordinate them and say like, hey, my stem is going to be green, so I'm going to circle this right here. My root's going to be black, so I'm going to circle this right here. Anyway, it should look something like that. So draw your 4 seeds, make a prediction as to which direction the stems and the roots are going to grow. Okay, you don't need to turn this in yet, as we still have day 2 and day 3 over the next couple weeks to work on. So go ahead, finish this part up, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.